Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. After 9 years of this NDP Liberal government, life has been so much more difficult for Canadians. However, for the Prime Minister and his well-connected Liberal friends, life has actually never been better. I rise today in the House to speak on our Opposition Day motion, calling on the government to deposit all relevant documents pertaining to SDTC within 14 days of adoption of this motion. Let's go back in time. Let's remember 2015. When the Prime Minister took office, he promised a new wave of governance, transparency, accountability, something that, in his words, that Canadians had never seen before. But he did the complete opposite, Madam Speaker. He established a culture of secrecy, and his stewardship of taxpayer funds ended. SDTC is a prime example of that. The essence of this motion is accountability. And I think at this point it's appropriate I repeat the words of the Assistant Deputy Minister of the Industry Ministry when this came to light, when he wasn't aware that he was being recorded by speaking to a whistleblower. This is in relation to the $40 million that was handed out during the pandemic to well-connected friends because they were having it tough. Life was tougher for these companies, and the board decided that $40 million would be sufficient. This is what the Deputy Minister had to say. It was free money, before making an analogy with the controversy that brought down the Jean Chrétien and Paul Martin Liberal government in the early 2000s. Quote, "That is almost a sponsorship scandal level giveaway." And now we hear from the Auditor General that $40 million is not even close to the amount of taxpayer abuse. Canadians deserve to know how their taxpayer dollars are being utilized and misused, especially within organizations like SDTC that are supposed to play a crucial role in our environmental and economic landscape. This past Tuesday, the Auditor General released a damning report which spoke to what Conservatives had been saying all along, that the Prime Minister has turned SDTC, which was supposed to stand as a federal foundation supporting small and medium-sized businesses in the clean tech sector, into a green slush fund for Liberal insiders. A staggering $123 million misappropriated for projects that were ineligible, marred by conflicts of interest, or simply should have never received funding in the first place. What's even more concerning is the revelation that conflicts of interest directly influenced approval decisions, resulting in a whopping $76 million awarded to projects with connections to the Liberals and their associates within the SDTC. And before I forget, Madam Speaker, I'll be splitting my time with the Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot. Thank you. On top of this, Madam Speaker, $12 million dispersed to projects that not only lacked eligibility but also harbored conflicts of interest. The government's response, or should I say lack thereof, is also troubling. Despite the government repeatedly boasting Canada's robust ethics and conflict of interest laws, the AG findings expose a consistent failure to adhere to those standards. The disconnect from this government between rhetoric and reality is stark. The AG herself emphasized that her recommendations will only carry weight when the government starts walking the talk and following the rules that are already in place, indicating a clear need for action rather than mere lip service. The members opposite can deflect and debate all they want, but the facts remain indisputable. Long-standing conflict of interest policies were flouted in 90 instances, with one egregious case involving the Prime Minister's hand-picked chair siphoning off $217,000 to her own company. These revelations not only erode public trust, but also underscore the urgent need for accountability, transparency, and a genuine commitment to upholding the ethical standards that Canadians rightfully expect from their government. I wish to remind the House that this is far from the first time that the integrity of SDTC has been called into question. Before the AG even launched into her investigation, whistleblowers recorded hours of conversations revealing that the federal bureaucracy itself had lost confidence in the leadership at SDTC. The House should remember that a secret recording of a senior civil servant, that deputy minister, slammed the outright incompetence of this government. The whistleblowers also filed compliance against SDTC, had hoped for a management overhaul and a full-fledged investigation. They alleged conflicts of interest in cases of mismanagement. Doug McConaughey, the assistant DM, emphasized that the situation at SDTC was sloppiness, laziness, and outright incompetence.
Shameful.
Despite these damning assessments, the government continued to permit the same management team to remain in place, asking them to rectify the very problems they created. I can't make up this lunacy. That's the decision of this government. During this time, common sense Conservatives voiced that those involved in bad decision-making are certainly not the best candidates to apply coercive measures. But as per usual, the Liberals did not listen. This decision not only undermines whistleblowers' efforts, but also raises serious questions about the government's commitment to accountability and transparency. Now here we are, around a year later, with the findings of the AG to prove what Conservatives and Canadians knew all along, and what the Liberals thought they could keep hidden under the rug. The government's handling, or lack thereof, of the issue has been nothing but a series of broken promises and attempts to contain their image rather than to address the root problems at hand. The issue goes beyond mere management. It's about the misuse of taxpayer money, 2 minutes, and the government's failure to uphold the highest standards of ethical governance that Canada is known for. I'm going to move on to my conclusion. The only word that resonates within this Liberal Party is secrecy. Canadians deserve to know the whole truth and nothing but. Taxpayer money was squandered, and taxpayers deserve answers. The current approach taken by this NDP Liberal government is akin to asking the fox to guard the henhouse. The AG's decision to launch an investigation last year was a step in the right direction, but it should not have come to this. We are thankful for her work, but Report 6 on SDTC is one piece of the puzzle. In response to the report, the government has axed the Green Slush Fund. They want Canadians to move on, forget about the mismanagement, their corruption, and blatant conflict of interest breaches. They want us to focus on other issues. We will not let that happen. On behalf of our Conservative leader and our next great Prime Minister, and for the transparency of Canadians, Conservatives stand today to order the government and SDTC and the AG of Canada to deposit all relevant documents related to the program within 14 days. Madam Speaker, there is a culture of dishonesty and fraud that has taken over this Parliament. Ethics and Liberals, oil and water, they don't mix. Thank you.